Daymare 1998 was supposed to be Resident Evil 2, but then Resident Evil 2 became Resident Evil 2. So now Daymare 1998 is Daymare 1998. So that about sums up the history portion of this video. So how do I feel about the game? I hate it. I hate it so much. Mostly because, like an idiot, I was looking forward to it. I'd finished the Resident Evil 3 remake and I wanted more survival horror. And Daymare just happened to be coming out in a couple of weeks. Perfect. Then it came out and I played it. And now I hate myself. Daymare 1998 doesn't work. Firstly, and worstly, the sound. I can't describe how bad the delay is. So just watch and try to listen. How is it that bad? And that wasn't a one-off. That is how the game sounds all the goddamn time. I'm not exaggerating. The sound does that constantly.
I found West's body. Looks like he was shot to death. No sign of cry check yet.
I hate this so much. Want to know if you're being sneaked up on? Sucks to be you, mate, because you're not allowed to hear shit. I couldn't believe it was this bad, so I tried uninstalling the game and reinstalling it. And guess what? It was still broken. The fact that someone thought this was okay is so much more horrifying than anything you fight in this f***ing game. Moving on to that topic, the enemies are shit as well. Not because they're basic zombies, no. It's because all of their attacks boil down to just grabbing you and throwing up. It doesn't look like it should kill you. It looks more like an inconvenience. But it does kill you. And there's a good chance it'll kill you a lot. Because the majority of the time, the controls don't work. I tried to hit a zombie, and my character would just stand there like a plonk and let himself get chunded on. It's not just the melee attack. Whenever you press a button to use health items, run, or reload, it seems like the game randomly decides if it wants to do it or not. Combat isn't helped by the constant stuttering, or the lack of any meaningful visual feedback. This is the kind of game we're dealing with. If the unresponsive controls aren't enough to make you feel sick, then the frame rate will be. I honestly needed to keep taking breaks because the jerky movements made me nauseous. The inability to move around properly, aim with any precision, or even reload when you need to, makes Daymare unbearable the entire time. Everything about this game is unbearable. I was stuck at this section of the game for so long for no other reason than the game doesn't work the way it needs to for this kind of set piece. And that was just the end of Chapter 1. Was it just teething problems? Does the game get any better after that? What do you think? Okay, I need to stop talking about how this game plays before I break something. So how does the game look? It looks ugly. It looks like it came out in 1998. So they at least got the name right. The textures are strangely smooth and take way too long to load in. The lighting is bland and dark for the sake of being dark. And the environments all look like rejected Resident Evil concepts. I want to give the game props for the detailed environments, but I can't help but wonder if all these assets are responsible for the lag. And of course, you don't really get to take in the detail, because by the time you've finished in an area, they've not even loaded in yet. The one aspect of the game that I didn't like, but I can justify, is the puzzles. This is subjective, and I understand that there'll probably be people out there that appreciate the puzzles, but I didn't. There are only 3 kinds of puzzles. Too easy, stupidly complex, or just a guessing game. An earlier puzzle needed me to have a basic understanding of the Greek alphabet, which I didn't, so I googled it. And don't get me started on the Morse code puzzle. The game's audio barely functions as is. How am I supposed to figure this one out? I'd happily take the time searching for a solution in a Resident Evil game. The difference being though, Resident Evil games are fun. While I'm talking about things Daymare wants to do that Resident Evil does better, the level design in this game is so basic. Some sections have you following fairly linear corridors. Those areas are fine, if a little uninspired, while other sections throw you into an open area that you need to explore and backtrack through to escape. Now that's all well and good, if the locations are designed well. I think you can guess what I'm going to say. In Resident Evil or a Silent Hill, the areas are all designed to loop around on themselves to make running back and forth less painful. Daymare doesn't care if you're in pain. If you find a locked door, you'll be expected to run all the way to the other end of the map, collect whatever item you need, then go all the way back again. Once you've opened the locked door and found whatever item you needed from in there, you then have to run all the way back to the door you started at. To make matters worse, in some sections you're supposed to run past large numbers of enemies instead of fight them. The problem here is, the game in no way signposts the direction you need to run in, so you're just meant to guess. Pick a direction and hope for the best. When you die, pick another direction until you figure out the correct way. If you put a gun to my head and told me to praise one aspect of the game, I guess I'd tell you that I thought some of the mock movie posters were a bit funny. Not actually funny, they're just funny because they're really bad. And there's so many of them. Reloading is a fucking chore. I feel like I should throw that out as well. You can't just press X. You need to go into the inventory, which takes about 3 years, might I add. Combine ammo with your ammo clips, come out of the inventory, reload, go back into your inventory, fill the other clip. And you better expect that to become a huge ball ache, because the game doesn't pause when you're in the inventory. Reloading in this isn't fun. There's a reason video games just let you reload when you want to. Because of the tedium I experienced every time I needed to fill one of my ammo clips, I tried my best to save ammo and only shoot when I needed. A sentiment the game shares. Very early on it's reinforcing you that saving ammo is a priority. So then why, when I was heading to an elevator on one of my many backtracking trips, was I told I had to kill a new enemy type? Seemingly, it was for no other reason than the game felt like it needed to have a boss fight. After all, forcing players to waste all their ammo into bullet sponge bosses is what survival games do. Not that it's important, but the story, if you can call it that, is also very bad. The writing would make Tommy Wiseau blush.
You are tearing me apart!
Play at games.
When the audio got too broken to bear, I'd turn the volume down and use the subtitles and facial animations for context instead. Unfortunately, they're also broken. I'd make some snide comment about how awful the voice acting is, but honestly, I don't need to.
How do you mean?
Well, I can access anything via the server. The security system, surveillance cameras, and naturally, the personnel files of all the Aegis employees.
Everything about this game is so fucked. In theory, Daymare 1998 is a good game. Playing 3 survivors with different motives trying to survive an outbreak isn't original, but it can still be an intriguing concept. Everything after the conceptual stage, though, just keeps getting worse and worse. I have a feeling that the majority of bugs in the game are contained to the console editions, but even if they weren't present, there's still nothing even close to remarkable about Daymare. Except for the price tag. 30 odd quid is a remarkably cheeky asking price for what's on offer. If you're a fan of survival horror, replaying any Resident Evil game would be a much better choice. If it wasn't clear, don't play it.
All systems down.
Shit.
This is Special Rescue Team PLAYIT. If you're hearing this, then that's a miracle, because I didn't put any time into fixing my audio. If you do hear this though, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, because I put myself through hell for this video, and I'll be damned if I don't get any appreciation for it. Cheers.